our speaker for this talk, Catholic Religious Emblems Program, is Brian McMichael. He has been volunteering with the Boy Scouts of America for 2 years since his son became a Lion. He serves as a BSA Religious Emblem Chair for the Archdiocese of Atlanta Catholic Committee on Scouting, Religious Emblem Coordinator for the Soapstone Ridge District, Atlanta Area Council, and Capmaster for PAC 551, chartered by the St. Thomas More Catholic Church in Decatur, Georgia. Brian?
All right, thanks, Inez. So we're going to get started with this. Please be kind with me. Just to let you know that my original presentation was on the Religious Activities Award, and this was kind of with everything that kind of has been going on. This has changed, so I will do my best to answer some of these questions. Again, if you are here I will cover some of the Girl Scout awards. However, I'm not an expert on it by any means. So if I give some incorrect information, please put something in chat. Inez will stop me and we can get the correct information out there. Today's topics, I'm going to just talk briefly about the, excuse me, the Archdiocese of Atlanta Catholic Committee on Scouting. Then we will cover the National Catholic Committee of Girl Scouts for Girl Scouts and Campfire Awards, the National Catholic Committee on Scouting Awards, that's BSA, and I have one slide just to kind of go back over what Jim talked about earlier today about religious activities. And I'll finish off with a slide. Actually, with any of the slides that have contact information, please take a screenshot or a pic with your phone if you want that information before the Dropbox link becomes available later in the week. Okay. As far as the AACCOS is concerned, and this is with all Catholic committees, they are local resources. So any information today is based for Atlanta and might be different for other committees, or other dioceses or archdioceses. But we are available to, our purpose is to encourage scouts to grow in their Catholic faith, and we offer very meaningful and multiple programs for that. Scouting as youth ministry is at the foundation of what we do. We offer adult training and development, which was covered in the last session. And we also offer, we do awards for adults, but also unit recognition beyond what's going to be covered today. So if you have any questions about those, you can email later as part of the presentations we originally had scheduled before we had to go virtual. Just to give you an idea of where we cover North Metro, or we cover the Archdiocese of Atlanta, which is all of North Georgia. There are 7 BSA councils that are partly within their boundaries overlap. We have 2 Girl Scout of America councils, and we also are represented with the American Heritage Girls, Foundation North American Explorers, Trail Life, all within the Archdiocese. It does not go without saying. Anytime I talk about anything, whether it is with the prospective DEN leaders or my PAC committee or district level, I always bring up youth protection, because it is so important for any of these programs to be a leader with BSA and within the Catholic Church. There are 4 things. I'll speak to BSA. There are 4 things that need to happen. You need to be a background check for BSA. You need youth protection through BSA. With the Catholic Church, at least, especially I know for the Archdiocese of Atlanta, you must do Virtus training, as well as another background check with the Archdiocese. See, there's 4 things that have to be checked off before you can participate in any activities as a leader other than with your own child. Again, youth protection, safe environment. Specifically for the Archdiocese, you have to have authorize your parish to conduct a background check There's paperwork that must be cleared off, and the Virtus training by the Archdiocese. And again, any safe environment link down here at the bottom goes through the steps that you need to do. The Archdiocese of Atlanta Virtus training has to be updated every 5 years, or if there is a change, your pastor could decide that it needs to be updated even earlier, and BSA youth protection expires it needs to be updated every 2 years. Okay, I'm going to talk not as an expert here, so please understand. But we're going to talk briefly about the programs offered through the Girl Scouts and Campfire. For more information, please use this link or this website here, and that's where you can find information on the committee and on these programs that we're going to highlight. Similar to BSA, that has 14 regions that align with the Bishops' Council regions. There's the chair. Again, there's the website, and specifically for the Archdiocese of Atlanta, Jackie and Tom Welch. There is their email and their phone. I will leave this up for a second, so if you need to get a screenshot or take a quick picture, you can do that. Okay. The first one, and this is for kindergarten through first grade, is the God is Love. There's a picture of the book, and I guess it's more of a pen than a medal, but this one is the introduction to the programs for girls kindergarten and first grade, and it emphasizes God's great love for us and how each of us are special and precious creation of God. This is parent or facilitator led. All of these programs, I'm not going to read each slide, but all of these programs are pastor. You need the pastor support, whether at the beginning, at the end, or both when we get to the older grades and older groups. But these awards are worked on mostly with the family, and they are usually awarded within the local parish. For second and third grade, Family of God. This is actually based on the Catechism of the Catholic Church and is a good support for young girls getting ready for First Communion. I need to go back and state that all of these programs are designed to support church teachings and religious education. They are not to replace or being used instead of religious education. These are things that support the Catholic teachings and should not be considered a replacement for parochial instruction or religious education classes. Again, this one is for younger kids, second and third grade, and is awarded in the local parish. I Live My Faith is designed for 4 to 6 year old. For grades 4 to 6. And they start at this point, the program starts leading the girls into considering how their relationship with God is present in their everyday life. Counselors may begin to work with groups at this age, but it can still also be done with the parent as the facilitator. And again, this one is awarded in the local parish. And again, this is how Atlanta does it. This is awarded in the local parish, not at a archdiocesan mass. And then after this, we move into the older groups, which these awards from this point forward are offered by trained coordinators. They're for young ladies from this one, Mary the First Disciples, for young ladies from grades 7 to 10. And they explore Mary as an example and explore her relationship with her son, and how she might lead them to a closer relation with Jesus. This one requires pastor's support at the beginning and at the end of the program. So you need to notify the pastor of your intent to begin, as well as he signs off at the end. The scout will go through a board of review, and this one can be awarded in the local parish, but it is also could be awarded at the annual Archbishop's Mass. There has been a change recently with the Girl Scout program. Spirit Alive used to be the last program, but it used to be 9 through 12, but they've added another one we'll talk about in a second. So this is for young ladies in 9th and 10th grade. Kind of discovering how the Holy Spirit moves within their lives. And again, this one requires pastor support at the beginning and the end. So signatures are required to start and to complete. And again, there is a board of review for the Spirit Alive. This one is new for Girl Scouts, and is designed for young women from grades 11 and 12. And this program is designed to explore their own religious identity as Catholics and discipleship. And just like the previous two, requires pastor support at the beginning and end, and is awarded at the annual Archbishop's Scout Mass. For Atlanta, the training for these programs, here's the contact information, is offered through Ulan Plantieri. Email her, and she can either set up an in-person or a virtual. I'm probably not an in-person today or this anytime soon, but can offer a virtual meeting to review the materials, so you become a trained counselor for these Religious Emblems programs. I'll leave this up for 1 second if you need to get a screenshot. And before we move on to BSA, I know, see if there are any questions regarding these. Okay.
I see that, well, before you move forward, I see there's one question about border review. So the border review is where, for the Archdiocese of Atlanta, we normally have, for the Pope Pius class, it'll be the entire class in one border review session with members of the committee and or prior recipients serving as those asking the questions or reviewing the material. For the Altare Dei, we break them up into multiple scouts, usually around 5. So it may be the whole class, maybe parts of classes or parts of other classes, but the same principle. There'll be a few adult members of the committee, as well as usually one youth who has previously earned the Altare Dei award, and those will be the ones serving on the border review. And similarly with the Girl Scout Awards, again, within the Archdiocese of Atlanta.
Okay. Why is it not moving? There it goes. Okay, here's the information Jim shared earlier. This is for the National Catholic Committee on Scouting. This is for the BSA awards. Here's the national website. If you need to get a contact and find local information, you go to this link, put in your zip code, and it will locate what region you are in and get you some specific contact information. Okay, this is somebody asked this earlier in the other class, but why they weren't associated. Girl Scouts weren't associated with this one. The National Catholic Committee on Scouting is just an advisory group to BSA. And they are the ones who develop and support the BSA programs for BSA Scouts. They do offer trainings in Scouter development, and all that information is available on their website. They have the same 14 regions, but if you notice up here in the upper right, it says 15 regions. The 15th region is for Eastern Rite Catholic Church. So I'm going to discuss that a little bit, but they have a little bit different programming. when it comes to one of the religious emblems. So if you are looking for information for Eastern Rite, you can go to the national website and find the 15th region, and that will have information for that organization.
And Ryan, there was a question earlier. Someone is on the military base in Kansas and has worked with Catholic youth for 3 years, but the unit can't have a unit award because the unit is not chartered by a Catholic church. Our unit our unit charter organization is American Legion. How can this award the unit be awarded? I'm sorry, I'm having to sit too far back to be able to read some of these. I'm a unit commissioner there and would present it if the unit, oh my gosh. All right. Basically it's, they're not COR'd by a Catholic, and how can they get their awards?
I don't believe they can. Jim, can you speak to that? I believe it has to be a charter organization, has to be a Catholic church to be eligible for the Catholic Unit Award.
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah, so they can earn the religious emblems, but the unit itself is not eligible for the Catholic Unit Award. Here's my contact information for anyone who has questions. I will field questions outside of Atlanta, but again, each of these regions has their own policies and procedures for how things are done. So you might want to contact them, but in Atlanta, specifically for BSA awards, I am your point of contact.
We have another question.
Yep.
The purpose of the boards of review more as a capstone for the award experience, or do scouts actually pass or fail based on their performance there?
It is a pass in the Archdiocese of Atlanta. It is a pass-fail. It is similar to other boards of review where you are, I wouldn't say grilled, but you're asked questions. And I know in the Archdiocese of Atlanta, you kind of, especially with something like the Pope Pius Award we'll talk about in a minute, they go in as a group. And so their discussion is based on a group, where the AAD award might be 1 or 2 scouts, but it will not be, it is not based on group discussions or anything like that, but it is a pass-fail. Okay, this was mentioned in the last one, the last session, but BSA Religious Emblem Award Program, the purple knot is what BSA is responsible for, not the Catholic Committee on Scouting. That second bullet there, these programs are created, what we're going to talk about today are created by the religious group. So the Catholic Committee on Scouting does the emblems, but the official BSA knot award is universal. So it is not, doesn't matter religion or denomination, that is covered through BSA. The reason I put this on here as its own slide is occasionally I will get questions when someone orders an award, especially with the Cub Scouts, and they want their medal. They order the medal, we mail it to them, and then they ask where their purple knot is. Purple knot is done through the charter organization or through the pack or troop. The medals specifically go through the committee, not the BSA religious award. That goes through the BSA or charter organization. Okay, our first program we'll talk about is designed for 6 or 7-year-old Cub Scouts. It says 6 or 7. It really should be 1st and 2nd grade. Unlike the Girl Scout program, which is designed for kindergarten and 1st, the Light of Christ has been designed for tigers and wolf Cub Scouts. There is not one currently for lions. I don't know if there's one in development or not, but this one is 6 or 7, but it's primarily designed for 1st and 2nd grade. This is parent-led. and it's done through a family context, especially with the Light of Christ, is designed for the scout to explore their Catholic faith with their family. It can be supported by religious emblem coordinators, and that will be specific on the pack. My pack is, we are chartered at St. Thomas More, so we have I don't know if I currently don't have any scouts that aren't Catholic, so we do a lot of our work together as families in meetings with our younger scouts. The pastor support is at the end. What we did was that towards almost everyone had finished before Scout Sunday was our goal. We had all but one of our tigers was at the meeting where our pastor came in, and he met with each of the kids and met with their families, and he did it at one time. Obviously, if your scout is not at a charter organization that is a Catholic church, this will be done through your home parish. The awards have to be submitted. There's a signature page that has to be submitted, and the awards are ordered through the Archdiocesan Committee. And these are awarded at the local parish. This year, we awarded ours at Scout Sunday. In past years, as scouts have earned them throughout the year, we have awarded them individually throughout the year. Again, that's a local decision. For 8 to 10-year-olds or your Bear and Webelos is Parvuli Dei. This award is more designed for the scout going from exploring their faith within their family, but to explore their role within the church, within the community. So it expands it a little bit more as far as their perspective. But again, it is still parent-led. The pastor support comes at the end where they sign off after meeting with the scout. It is also awarded within the local parish. Once a scout has left Cub Scouts and is either registered with a BSA troop, a venture crew, or Sea Scouts, they are eligible to take part in the AAD program, and this one is based on the sacraments and has to be led by a trained counselor. This one requires the pastor's support at the beginning and the end, so the pastor must sign off and be aware that the scout is involved in this prior to the course beginning. This is subject to a board of review, and this one can be awarded in a local parish, but it is this is the first one that is awarded or can be awarded at the Archbishop's Mass. Light is Life is for Eastern Rite Catholics. I should have had this one. This one is done instead of the Ad Altare Dei. For the Latin Rite, Ad Altare Dei. For Eastern Rite, Light is Life. That's the only difference between the programs as far as the emblem program goes. But if you need to find a lead trained counselor or become trained in this, please contact Region 15 through the national website. But the other parts of the program are still the same as far as pastor support is required. There is a board of review, and this award will be awarded at the Scout Mass. Light is Life and Altare Dei are not to be taken together. You do one or the other. It is not just one. It's not both. That is not an option. Ad Altare Dei is for the Latin Rite. Light is Life is for Eastern Rite. It addresses more of the culture of the Eastern Catholic churches as opposed to Ad Altare Dei. The last one, as for BSA awards, is Pope Pius XII. And this one delves more into church-related ministries and vocation of discernment, such as life choices, single, married, occupations, ministries within the church, This one is designed for older scouts. This was discussed in the last class. If an older scout wants to go back to do Altare Dei and they didn't do it, is that allowed? In Atlanta, yes, but they need to understand that it is designed more for late middle school as opposed to a late high school. But you have to be 15 and a registered member of either a crew, a venture crew, Sea Scouts or Scouts BSA in order to participate in the Pope Pius. It has to have a facilitator. However, the difference is this one is led by youth as opposed to a counselor who is going to lead the Altare Dei program. Again, this one requires pastor support at the beginning and the end. There is a board of review, and this is awarded at the Archbishop Scout Mass. I'm going to stop here. If we have time towards the end, if we run out of questions, I will quickly talk about the religious activities, because this is something that I was prepared to talk about, and it's also one of the ones as a dad, me and my son love doing these. So we can talk about those if we have time at the end, but are there any questions at this time?
One of the things, this is Jim Weiskircher, one of the things on the Board of Reviews, the way that Atlanta handles it are not the way that most areas do it. Most areas have a like a Board of Review for Altare Dei and Pope Pius with one scout and the 3 or 4 people interviewing them. The reason for the Board of Review is not so much to test the kids on what they've learned, but it's more to find out what they got out of the program. And then also it's a great check for the committees to find out how good the facilitators or counselors are doing and making sure that they're covering all the activities. So it's not supposed to be like a program where you're penalizing the kids if they don't get something right. It's more to find out whether the program, they're benefiting from the program and learning from the program. So each diocese decides on how they do it. I'm from the Diocese of Charleston, and in Charleston we have individual ones, and it gives us a little bit more control, and it's more personalized for the scout if you're able to do it one-on-one as opposed to a group with 5 or 6. And this is just something to where each individual committee kind of decides on how they do it. Atlanta does it one way. A lot of parts of the country do it a different way. So I just wanted to give people a heads up that boards of review are held just a little bit differently. The other thing is the reason that it's important for older scouts to receive their emblems at a scout mass, it makes it feel special. Sometimes at the parish level, a priest doesn't totally understand what he needs to do, and he kind of hands the medal to a kid. At a scout convocation or a scout mass, the scouts feel special, and that's what we want them to do. They've spent a tremendous amount of time earning their emblem. We want to make sure that they're rewarded for their activities, and that the church thinks that it's a special activity. So when you deal with your parish priest, make sure that he makes it a special program for the kids, and especially for the younger kids, that he blesses the medals and gives them to the kids.
Thank you. I can speak to our church. We do on Scout Sunday was when we presented the Light of Christ and Parvuli Dei medals. And so it was, the mass was centered around them. So it was something that was good, special for them. But I would agree that make sure, well, luckily for us, one of our priests is a recipient of the Altare Dei. So he made a very big deal of it. So that was nice.
It also allows you to promote your program, and not only the religious emblems, but also scouting at your church. We've had Cub Scouts who are doing religious emblems, or they have classmates going to mass, but they are not very interested in church, in scouting, or if they're scouts, they're not very interested in doing the program. And besides with that, you may have more than one pack at your church. So you're really expanding your the knowledge of these programs at your church.
And Jim, thanks for those. And for those of you that aren't aware, there is a manual that the National Catholic Committee on Scouting produces that has some formats for the Mass and prayers and blessings in there too. So if you need that information for your local presentation in the parish, I would recommend this manual. So I was just checking. I did not see them in the individual counselor manuals. But thank you, Jim, for that clarification on procedures.
Do we have any other questions? Yeah, I know I'm good, but I couldn't answer everything.
I had one and I just lost it.
Yeah.
It keeps moving and I lost it.
Yes, it does.
Oh gosh, I lost it.
Okay, well, I'm going to go and just talk briefly about the religious activities. So if something pops up, please let me know. We can always go back into anything else because this is the last part of this presentation.
Before you go, Brian, here's one.
Okay.
When is the grade cutoff for awards and patch programs? End of school year, end of scout year, etc.
My guess would be it's end of scout year. I haven't had that before because our end of school year is the end of our scout year. So I would say the way it's based, it should be the end of the scout year. So especially for BSA, like the Light of Christ is for tigers and wolf cubs. So once they start working towards the bear, that's kind of the end of the year. That would be where they would be eligible, age-wise, if they're age-wise eligible to start working on the other one. But it's one of those things, I think it's almost splitting hairs. If a kid is a bear, but he's 9, I would like him to work on, or not 9, if he's a young bear, let him work on the other one. I think that's more of a local issue. And a lot of it might depend on the kid or the pack, but the cutoffs are based on age in the book. We run them at my parish. We run them by den, and so once a kid moves on to bear, that's when they start working on the Parvuli Dei. But again, that's a local decision.
Yeah, this is Jim again. One of the things that has happened is that because of the coronavirus, the BSA has extended earning additional, like completing a rank through the end of the year. Pray has done it, and we've done it as well. So, like if somebody was concerned about not being done by the beginning of the summer or whatever, they have until the end of the year to finish up the requirements because of COVID.
Good to know. All right. So again, the religious activities. These are patches. One of the things I really like about these programs here is you can be a scout. You don't have to be a scout. Catholic, not Catholic, male, female, kids, adults, anybody who wants to explore their faith or explore the Catholic faith, even if not Catholic, can participate in these. And it's something that me and my son really, really enjoy to do. But there's 5 different series. You have religious activities. You have the Rosary series, which I found my son is 7. We enjoyed doing the first one together, which was just learning about the Rosary and various prayers. And we are about to start on, they have a patch for each of the mysteries. We have not participated yet in the Marian series. We have done the American Saint series, which I love the fact that the image I have up here is St. George, who is not an American saint, but since he is the patron saint of scouting, that was the one my son chose to do first. It's a great program. As Jim mentioned in the opening session, that they're staggered, so the first or fifth grade have one set of requirements, 6th through 12th have another, and adults can earn them as well, because we like patches just as much as the kids do. And there's a set of requirement for adults as well. The Modern Saint series, me and my son, we worked on one. Actually, we worked on two together about 2 weeks ago. We worked on Divine Mercy and Faustina, Saint Faustina. The Divine Mercy Shrine in South Bend, Indiana, put on a live webinar for kids from across the country to come in. And we spent about an hour learning the life of Saint Faustina and the significance and the origin of the Divine Mercy with Pope John Paul II. And so it was really, really interesting. And we've decided with our parish, we're going to probably try to do one of these every 6 months. For our parish, we're going to put on a webinar until we can get back together. We might actually accelerate that timeline. With the Knights of Columbus, we've kind of joined, we've asked them to contribute financially to purchase some of these patches, but they have one of the American Saint series has Father Michael McGivney, who is the founder of Knights of Columbus. So they are putting some materials together. They're going to purchase the patches, and when we get back face to face, they're going to present the kids who earn them at our parish kickoff whenever we are allowed to get back together as a parish. So we're using it as a way to bring our parish together with different ministries around the church. We've actually talked to some of the other youth groups about these, that it's not scout specific. It's one way we can recruit new scouts, but it's also expanding our influence and connecting us to other groups of our parish. But I think this is, all these different ones on the website, you don't have to go through a committee to order these. If you do it, you just order them yourself. And it's an excellent opportunity. Like I said, for my son's in just finished first grade yesterday. And I'm an adult who's been around education for 20 plus years. And these programs are fascinating. I mean, we can put them at a level for first graders to get involved in it. And someone in their mid 40s gets just as excited about learning some of these things, and the stories of these saints is, it's incredible. So if you have an opportunity to look at some of these, especially during this time, a lot of this stuff is available online, so you can sit with your child or get it out to your dens, your packs, your troops, your crews, whatever, to get this information out. I would highly suggest it. Does anyone have any questions that has not been covered?
There is a question. Are you waiting until BSA says it's okay to camp out again, or when your church says it's okay, or both?
Ooh.
I think it depends on where you are.
Yeah, I would not call it. I would wait for, well, depending on how you're going to do it. I would probably wait for both. I mean, especially since our church is our charter organization. If BSA says go and our charter org says no, we don't do it.
Where do we get info on how to become a trained Altare Dei counselor?
Did I not have that slide on there? I apologize.
Yeah, we
will make sure it gets on there. But if you want that information today, you can email me and I will send you. At least for Atlanta Archdiocese, we have a link. But if you're not in Atlanta, contact go to this website here and I'll link you. Let me go. This website here, you can find what region you're in. They can link you to your committee.
Could Catholic Scouts from a unit not chartered to a Catholic organization get a Good Turn Service Project Award? I know they cannot get the Quality Unit Award, but if they did a project for their parish, could they get a Good Turn, even if chartered to a non-Catholic group?
Jim, can you speak to that one? I do not know the answer.
Yeah, I would probably say that would be fine when it comes down to it. The one is the unit award, and this one's is more of a good service project award. So from my standpoint, I would go for it. Then it would be okay.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I would say if it came across my email, I'd probably approve it, but I didn't want to speak to outside of. I haven't had that come to me yet. So.
Okay, there's a question, and I'm not sure where it came from, but it says from Jason, what if the youth is past 12th grade, like a Sea Scout ships?
Okay, it goes along with the group they are involved with. So BSA at 18, they're done. But with, I believe Sea Scouts goes to 21, or is it Venture? If they're still a registered scout, they can work on the older scout programs.
That's correct. That's correct. They are still considered youth up till 21, so up till their 21st birthday.
As long as they are registered with.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
As long as they continue to be registered. Correct.
This was a question, I don't know if we got to from the other class, but it was mentioning Girl Scouts earning BSA awards. If she was dual registered, meaning she's registered with Girl Scouts and with BSA, she could earn both awards because she's independent. Each one acts independently of the other. But a Girl Scout member who is not a BSA member cannot earn BSA awards. Whoop, sorry. Okay.
All right. As we are coming to the end of this session, we'll continue to field questions. I just wanted to prepare everybody in the audience. It looks like it's 15 minutes past the hour. At half past, the next session will be Girl Scouts, My Faith, My Promise. So all are welcome to continue to stay in the room for that. If anyone wants to take a break, get lunch, whatever, now would be a great time to do that. But again, the next session in this room, the Reverent Room, is Girl Scouts, My Faith, My Promise. Cara and Sherry will be presenting that presentation. In the faith